Hello and welcome back to the show. My name's Relvin. This is Do All the Things. And on today's episode, we're taking another look at the Graphtech LB63 floating bridge. I'm going to try it on my Yamaha because, well, I broke a string and I think it'll intonate properly. So stay tuned and let's find out. Now, in a previous episode, I installed this Graphtech on my not-so-trusty Ibanez S470. Always had tuning stability issues. First, because its original bridge was worn out, and then the cheap Chinese replacement that I put on it just wasn't up to snuff. So I put this one on there, and wouldn't you know it, tuning stability issues gone. It's been working great, except for one thing. The intonation. Now, if you look at the Graphtech, there are these graphite saddles. In order to fit those, they need to be physically farther up than the original fulcrum point would be, somewhere back here. If you compare it to a standard Floyd type bridge, you can kind of see what I mean. This might not be the best, but you know, here's the fulcrum point on the Graphtech, whereas the Floyd fulcrum point is, this angle doesn't do it justice. Just take my word for it, it's not the same. Now my Yamaha is set up for a more standard type Floyd, the same kind that's on there, and I'm seeing that the intonation points are farther forward. So it looks like I should be able to adjust this bridge correctly on this guitar, and then this one should be able to adjust correctly on the other guitar. Key term should. So we're gonna find that out. Now this appears to be a quality bridge, much of the quality that this bridge is, and that's important because this guitar is a holy grail. We're not putting just any bridge on it. This is a Yamaha RGX420S. It is a damn near identical RG copy. It has effectively that wizard neck. The finish is a little bit different. So depending on the Ibanez model, this might feel a bit slower and some might feel a bit faster, but for the most part, it plays like an RG, except the difference is it has better quality hardware. Look at that nut. Do you see that? Do you see that gap and those screws? It has an adjustable nut, and the bridge came stock with a brass block. It's just overall a better made guitar, and it is one of my best sounding guitars for the styles I like to play, and maybe my second best playing. I find my RGT42 plays just a little bit better, but whether you like it or not, this is what peak performance looks like. Nobody else makes a guitar like this, so you wouldn't know. Now, fun fact, I haven't changed the strings on this guitar in probably over 10 years. I know. And for the first time in over 20, I broke a string last night, so I guess we are due. Now, one reason why I opted not to change the strings on it is because for the longest time, I lost the intonation key for this thing, so I was afraid to change the strings. But I recently took a standard key and bent it to fit, so that's not a problem anymore. Man, I don't know what they make these nuts out of, but even this nut's better. Like, look at the locks. Often you see these scored up by the strings by now, but not the Yamaha locks. You know, this guitar's so nice, I almost feel crappy about separating its original bridge from it. Like, it just works. But this is half for science, and half getting my S470 100%. Even though it couldn't intonate properly, I found the S470 played fine. I couldn't notice it. It's more of a psychological thing that it's bugging me. Half you know the intonation's off, and sometimes, I swear, pinch harmonics didn't quite hit where I expected them to. And that could be related to the intonation. Oh, we get to clean on this thing. Oh boy. It's one of the nice things about fully stripping down a guitar, you could actually clean on it proper. Hey, mop the surface down a bit of 65. The more dreaded thing is when you see the frets are getting to the point where, it might need a fret dress soon. Sucks because it's not something you can do yourself, or at least it's not something I can do. And it can be costly. And then the kind of people who do that work really well in a town like this are always so busy. This guitar has war wounds. It's my most worn out looking guitar, probably because it's gotten played a lot. And how do I get away with not changing strings for 10 years? Well, for one, it just didn't sound like it. For two, when you're not a serious player, your strings last longer. I'm not in a band or jamming or anything. And for three, when you have multiple guitars, well, the wear gets spread out, right? Take this opportunity to make sure everything's tight. Oh yeah, she's good. So, Monsieur Graphtech, what I want to try to do is pre-intonate this bridge some way, somehow. Oh, the saddles are starting to show wear. Hopefully that's not a problem. I think it's more trouble than it's worth. But there is one thing I definitely want to do, if it's possible. We're about to find out. Is you see, this Yamaha bridge has the nice tremolo arm interface. This one has the cheap tremolo arm interface, which is a feature I don't even use, so I don't know if they're going to be compatible. This thing's free spinning. It's like this is the adjustment. You screw in the arm tight, and then this piece here actually rotates. Oh, there's grease on it. That's nice. This one has a flattened hole, so no, this won't even go in there. So whatever, I guess I have to leave the original tremolo together. That's getting cut from the video probably, because like, why talk about something that didn't happen? The brass blocks appear to be identical. Actually, the one on the Graphtech's just a touch wider. All right, let us get it in there. It's funny because the hardware is mostly all identical. And unlike the Ibanez's, these screws aren't scored. How about the bridge? A little bit. You gotta watch out for that when you adjust the action. Like, you kind of need to have it under tension. I don't want to go friggin' loosening everything up just to make a slight adjustment, but you end up rounding off on the blade. Of course, the Dario XL. Good old fashioned. This is the string that I like. Heck, they last me as long as they do. I don't really have a reason to change. Love the sound of them. Yeah, bring it about here and give her a chop. The instructions for the Graphtech are clear about how to do this. I don't think I've ever read an instruction for a Floyd bridge before. Puts the string through the holes, tighten it till it stops, and then give it nothing more than a quarter turn. Is that really gonna hold that string in there? I guess we'll find out. Now you probably noticed that I changed the strings without the springs in place because it's a pain in the ass trying to get at these screws when the bridge is sunk into the body. Hey, this thing's bottoming out. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Now, that's not a deal breaker because I barely dive bomb up. Like, I don't really need it to go that way. But again, the intonation's not set. These guys are gonna move forward before I'm done with this thing. So, uh-oh, can I remember how I had these strings in there? Were they straight or were they angled? Oof. I think they were straight. There's a chance we're gonna have to tweak on spring tension anyway because it's not the exact same bridge. So I guess it doesn't matter. Oh yes. And now the excruciating process of tuning a Floyd. Do I even want to film this? Ugh. Now, just as a remembrance, I put the ball ends on the tuner side. Some people let them sit like that, and it's kind of like, you know, not a bad idea. I give a little pull, you know, just a little flare. Give it a pull, put my finger down, start winding it, let the string grab when it wants to grab, and then it's generally, once it locks in, it's good. Even the smaller strings, they might go for a few more revolutions, but eventually they start to tense on themselves, and then you get yourself some good tension with the least amount of wraps. I do it on my non-locking guitars too. Takes a bit of technique, so I don't always do it on client guitars. Okay, so yeah, we got it up to tune. Definitely have to relieve tension on the springs. So now, the million-dollar question, will it intonate? And when it intonates, will our bolts clear the edge? Even though, like, there's enough room now that I've got it set up, like, there's quite a bit. Like, that's never actually gonna prevent me from playing it. Again, I never use my whammy. I never go like, so as much as it's a pain in the ass to have those sticking out too far, it's not gonna be a problem. And the bolts are the exact same length as the stock bridge, so it all comes down to positioning, right? Now, let's see if I can't get my key on here. Let's lose that saddle. Should be able to adjust on it now, so let's see. Let's see. Will it intonate? Oh boy. Wait, it wants me to go back a bit still. Or, really? Oh, we got it on. It's almost pretty much bottomed out, but it's on. So I've locked the nut, or I've locked the saddle. Let's see if it held. Yeah, we have intonation. It doesn't clear though, still. So I guess we'll see in practice how much of a problem that is. Geez, some of my intonation's on already. C string. Oh, almost. G. I keep hating to see that arrow. That means I have to go that way. I think that's just about out of range too. All right. Ooh, it wants to loosen up just by a touch. Wait, too far now? Oh, touchy. Okay, G's on, and it's off. F needs to move a hair. If anything, we'll leave it. A needs to move a hair. We'll move that one. I do believe I got this thing intonated perfectly. We came close. Like, this strings and this string are kind of pretty much close to bottomed out, but at least the intonation is on. However, these guys still don't clear, so that's a thing that exists. Not much we can really do about that. We'll see how much it bothers me. Who knows? Maybe I'll be putting the stock bridge back on this after all and just allowing the S470 to be the weird Frankenstein runt of the litter that doesn't get to be proper. In the meantime, this guitar is done enough for this video, I think. Now hopefully I can lock this now. I won't have a problem getting the final tune on it. Why did I unplug it? Why is it telling me my intonation's off on G all of a sudden? Just gotta give it a little taste test now, right? This crate amp, not the best sounding. Maybe a touch, it measures on. Might have to do some fine tuning on it after, which I'm not interested in doing right now. Now I gotta see if I could get the original bridge to fit and intonate on the S series. All right, let's thwap this on here, bud. You know, these strings are probably gonna let go on me soon just because I've remounted them several times. They're getting so pancaked on the end. What is that gonna sound like? This guitar tuned to B? Oh boy. Wait, it has a third range? Doesn't matter if it has a third range. We're out of adjustment. Holy f, man. You're incorrigible. Watch this. We're gonna put it down here, and it's still gonna be out of range. Feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone, bud. Go off, man! Ah, the cursed guitar! Well, this guitar officially needs a whole new set of strings. I just lost my f***ing sucker. D. 24. I lost 24. Well, that was an excruciating process because I went a little bit experimental. Not only did it intonate, but I actually found that this bridge has a third range. 1 hole, 2 hole, 3 holes. There was no way this wasn't gonna intonate on this guitar because it has all that range. Now the only problem is, you see, the saddle is now, you have to be careful on other aspects of the setup because it's kind of like, it's over the bend. It's over the bend. this thing perfectly flat down can no longer fit in there. So that's a little bit different. Now this guitar is intonating now, but I got a little bit experimental because as I was tuning it up, I felt something interesting and I'm like, I want to explore this further. It might not stay like this, but I got 42s on here, 9 to 42s, and I just tuned it standard B. I feel the tuning stability is there, but you know, the attack, it's so flimsy. It loses tune as you hit it. Probably need to stretch on these strings a bit more before it settles into this tuning. Ha 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 ha, boy, it's so loosey-goosey. The stretching and the sustain though. You know, when a string's not tight, it can vibrate longer. I might yet find this string too loose for B, but I'm gonna leave it there for now because that's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun. I can't wait to plug it into one of my better sounding amplifiers. So, it does look like we can put this kind of Floyd style bridge on this guitar, assuming, you know, because the saddles line up. Didn't know where I was going with that statement right there. This Yamaha bridge, further earning my respect because it has a third range. I told you that Yamaha's got better quality hardware than everyone else. It has more range of adjustment. It saves the day for this guitar. I tune it back up to a reasonable tuning and I'm no question this guy's gonna rip. No problem, all day long. My Yamaha's got the Graphtech on it now, supposedly an upgrade, maybe a little bit more mid-focus. I don't know, I really like the sound of it as is. Maybe just a little bit more mid might not be too bad. We'll see, we'll see. In the meantime, if you like this, well, hey, stay tuned for more. I like to tinker on guitars sometimes. I'm thinking about buying another one actually, just as a project to work on. I have a hard time justifying investing in gear because it's like I already have so much. So unless I can do a lot of tinkering on it, it's like that entertainment value is not there. But anyway, okay, I already said the ending part. Now I just have to go play this thing. Yeah, just go over to the other side. Just play it. Actually, no, it's dinner time now, so see ya!